Hey there, Robbie C here. Welcome to Muzart Productions LLC. We're right now in the workstation of RC Films Productions, where we do our video work and put our music together. Today we're going to be talking about my musical influences, people, songs, different artists that have influenced me in my playing. This is rock and roll. I have a variety of musical influences. I play classical guitar, I play jazz guitar, play piano, bass, drums. Was quite proficient on trombone before I got a hold of my 6-string gun and taking life on the run. But I'm going to start with my first influence, my most major influence on my guitar playing in rock and roll. That'd be George Harrison. I started out taking guitar lessons. My teacher was Chuck Tipton. Against my dad's better judgment, he bought me a Yamaha acoustic guitar. Told me I never learned how to play it, so I learned how to play it. And so we went through, it was a class, we went through like Mel-based Fun with Guitar book, and we did learn the C chord, the G chord, the F chord, and they don't call it the F chord for nothing. And despite its musical functions. And learned E, A, A7, G7, B, at B7. Ding. My father was a band director, so I was up on music theory pretty early in life. I'd been playing piano recitals and playing trombone out to VA hospitals and different things long before I got a hold of a guitar. And the Beatles were already broke up by the time I started playing the guitar. But when I was a little kid, my sister, she's 10 years older than I am. She'd go hang out with her friends. And they put that Beatles record on. I Feel Fine. That feedback at the beginning. That was John. And but then the song kicks off and it's like, yeah. And especially the reaction of the girls, I saw that. And I was like, hey man, I might want to do that. Looks like the thing to do. And that kind of got me interested in the guitar. Just that in itself. But after taking some lessons and stuff, and then listening to the Beatles, by that point in time, I had all their albums. I knew what the blues were, and I'd realized I could play blues in E at that point in time. And the first song I started to play along with was Everybody's Trying to Be My Baby. And George is singing that one, I think, pretty sure. But anyway, he plays a little lick in there that's like one of the first licks I picked up. And pretty cool. I'll play it for you. I really need a pick, I guess. That little thing right there. And It's like it. Yeah, very cool lick. And then on the guitar, you know, you just go up a fret and you might have to figure it a little different, but the lick's there. So you got you a blues lick that you can keep with you and play in any key at that point in time. And believe me, I've used that a bunch. So has everybody else. And I'm not really a slide man. I guess in a pinch I could play a slide solo, but as a rule, I don't play slide guitar. But George's slide playing is just primo, man. And you can't beat it. And, so George was my first influence, that is. Picking up licks from him, and then, you know, from there, you could play Kansas City Boys, and then, you know, they roll over Beethoven. It's like, oh, good Lord, we can play roll over Beethoven. And well, that's Chuck Berry, of course. So influenced by Chuck Berry, as everybody else is. And via George Harrison. And so I learned how to play roll over Beethoven. And once you get out playing, Johnny B. Good, gotta be able to play that, or used to anyway. People probably don't give a hoot about that now. But anyway, that developed me as a blues player. Helped me go along and learn some things and use some things. And even kind of started writing my own little blues tunes that I never did anything with, but I learned how to play them nonetheless. But so George, it was the first, and giving me that one little lick, and then just that transforming into roll over Beethoven, and that lick comes again, and you know, Honey Don't, and it's everywhere. And so that's my first influence. We're going to take a short break, and then we'll come back with another. Hey, we're going to stick with George for a little while and talk a little bit more about him. You know, a few years down the road, George is playing, it improved, and he learned a new instrument called the sitar. And on Sergeant Pepper, Within You, Without You, and I heard that. It was a life-changing moment. You know, it's like, oh, this is incredible. And not only the sound and the uniqueness of the instrument, but words and what they meant and everything that they were going through. Just bringing in the mysticism into it is just fantastic. But that Eastern sound got to me, and I'd written a song, Come to Me, Set Me Free. The first part of it sounds, I try to make it sound like a sitar, but sometimes it does, sometimes it don't, but I'll do a little bit of it for you. It goes like this. See, that kind of thing. Keep that drone going, have a little melody thing going at the same time. And Within You, Without You, that's where that came from. And just an incredible album. The whole thing just revolutionized recording and what you'd hear on a record and stuff like that. And they're just picking up the, writing song style, from Lennon and McCartney and guitar techniques, getting them from George. I don't think I'm alone on that right there. And a lot of people were influenced by the Beatles, not only in the songwriting, but also in their playing. This next example, I don't know if I can give it credit. I mean, it's not that I have it in a song or anything, but it's a lick that I picked up, and I throw it in here and there occasionally. I don't know whether to give that credit to Supertramp or to Rush, because Rush is like... it's that kind of thing. It is. However it goes, but you got the point. And a nice little thing. Now I add that to everybody's wants to be my baby, So anyway, picking up from different people. And so Rush was kind of influential, and but that A run, and once you learn it, you start hearing it in all kinds of places, and very cool, very effective. And so Rush and Supertramp, as far as that little A thing doing. Then I was really getting into lead playing at that point in time, and I knew my pentatonic scale, and any key, whatever. And because I didn't know all the tricks. I knew that scale, and then some licks that I picked up, but never got into a little trick or anything. Then I was doing this as substance one evening. I put all my Jimi Hendrix records on the turntable. This was at night, of course. And sat down with my white Strat that I had. And I played along with Jimmy, and it was like... It's easier on the side. I'll get it here. Wind Cries Mary. That. It's like, what's he doing? And I was like, he's doing that. Interesting. getting that next part. I was like, hello, I'm starting to learn how to play now. And so Jimmy gave me kind of a quasi-mystical lesson that evening. I learned all kinds of things. Learned about manic depression, foxy lady. It's kind of hard on this. Anyway, I learned all of his tunes. Like, learned that chord. That's it. Learning that E7 sharp 9 was just a major breakthrough, man. And I was learning all the Hendrix stuff in that night. Really kind of crazy. But that's how it happened. I love it. Really simple. Yeah, good stuff. So definitely Hendrix and major influence. And so we got George Harrison. We've got Jimi Hendrix. We've got Supertramp. We've got Eric Lifeson from Rush influencing me. And once we started learning, Tommy, Black Sabbath, Lick Master, man. And learning all those. That was just cool. And I started picking up all this stuff. And I was like, not doing too bad. It's, And so that's a good thing because I was out playing every weekend, so I'd better learn the crap pretty damn quick. And but we did a lot of other kind of music too. I was just strumming chords and stuff. But good times indeed. So we've gotten a couple influences so far. Let's see who we can dream up next. Take his beds from me. I don't need it anymore. too dark to see. Feel like I'm in the floor. I get on in the floor. I get on in the floor. My guns on the ground. I can't shoot them anymore. Big soft lines run all around. I feel like I'm in a zoo. You know, that's one of the first or second or third songs that I learned how to play in a band. And knowing those 4 chords let me play a whole bunch of other songs too. G, D, A minor, C, and it's like, hey. You know, not only was that song inspiring, but the artist was too. I mean, Bob Dylan. Why can't I sing? So it gave me, him and Jimmy both gave me confidence to go out and try to sing. But it's a miracle I can sing anyway. We have one vocal cord that works, that flops over and hits the dead one, so you get what you get. And happy to be able to get that out to you. But we learned that one. I guess I'm going to have to notate that I'm playing those songs in here. That song was very inspiring to me as a writer. You know, more so than a guitar player. But it did help get me out in front of people and get me playing some lead. But one of the very first few, I mean, this may be even earlier than knocking on heaven's door. But ain't no sunshine when she's gone. It's not warm, she's away. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone, and she's always gone too long. Every time she goes away. This time where she's gone, wonder if she's going to stay. When let's go. And it says just ain't no more. Anytime she goes away. I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. Ain't gonna leave that thing alone. Ain't no sunshine when she's ain't no sunshine when she's gone. It's not warm when she's away. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. She's always gone too long. Anytime she goes away. Anytime she goes away. Anytime she goes away. Yeah, thank you, Bill Withers, for that one. Played that one a million times for sure. And extremely influential song, minor blues, and getting to stretch out and play some blues, lead, stuff like that, early on. And inspirational song. And we're supposed to be talking about guitars, right? And songs, whatever. Influences. Substance being one of them. But that was back then. Learning all new experiences, good stuff. But this fella learned how to do this. What is it? Jimmy Page. I mean, my goodness. What is it? That's a lot of stuff in that. I haven't played this in about 10 years, so a little sketchy there on that one. But, man, but where did he get that from? Blackbird. Everyone's stolen from Blackbird. And like that. He's just doing it backwards. That's great. Little trivia right there, not everybody knows. And I doubt that it was conscious. I mean, those guys helped everybody. I mean, they stole off each other and they did stuff. And they'd run back in the studio, come up with something similar to it. They didn't care. They played on each other's records. They'd have to put a false name on there so record companies wouldn't get upset with them for playing other people's records and publishing rights and all that stuff. It's pretty hairy and not a lot of fun. And but Led Zeppelin, definite influence. And I mean, my poor parents. I mean, I feel for them. We did a trip out west one time. First trip out, I was in the back of just a truck with a little camper thing on the top of it. I had an 8-track player in the back, and all I had was Led Zeppelin 2. Ohio to Yellowstone. So, I mean, it's like that album and me became one. And so, riff rock had its place. I mean, in my development. I mean, Black Sabbath, definitely riff rock. And so is Led Zeppelin. And most all rock and roll is really, but certainly those two for sure. And the next trip we went out southwest, and we had a car, so I had to be in the car with them. And I played the Beatles, I think, from the moment we started to the moment we got back. Like Meet the Beatles, Yesterday and Today, Help, and Hard Day's Night, over and over and over and over again. And I loved it. I'm sure they hated it. And they drank their way through it. It's okay. And but I'm sure I got on their nerves. And so there's another musical influence, Led Zeppelin, for sure. And then, people are like, well, what about Van Halen? Eddie's Eddie. There you go. Coming close to that boy. And he took the guitar to another level. He introduced all the tapping stuff. I'm not a tapper, so I don't do it very good. I can if I've had enough to drink, so that's, you never know what you're going to get with that. But don't have a lot of confidence in that. And I like listening to it and stuff, but it isn't my thing. And, by Ted Nugent's more my kind of guy on that. Because, I mean, not only just get that groove going and playing that lead over the top of it. Never wanted to learn that lead because I loved it so much, With me, I listen to a song and if I love it, I don't want to learn how to play it because that takes the magic out of it for me. But I mean, I've had to. I mean, throughout the years, certain songs, but there's certain things that I don't want to learn. And I like to just take it in, and Ted Solo on the Stranglehold is one of those. And I like the effects of the guitar, not only just, the tone, feedback, and how it's kind of layered, kind of really spacey, trippy and stuff. And he'll tell you it's the best solo in rock and roll. And it's about right, you know. Just throw it out and give you a run for your money on that. Pretty close. And Ted's just moving to that groove. So I learned two things from Ted, and all three really. That's how you can lock on to a groove. You don't have to play a bunch of chords. You keep it simple. And play something really sweet over top of it. And that's Ted. And Ted's a picker. He ain't no tapper. When you're hearing notes out of Ted, he's picking them. He's not tapping them. And to me, that's the guitar player for you right there. I mean, Eddie's probably no longer in a class of his own, but at the time, he was a lot of years away from everybody. Now you go on TikTok, there's 12-year-old ripping eruption out at you. It's like, screw that. But it's great that he's being noticed, but didn't really have a direct impact on me, you know, as far as my playing. The band did, and I would group them with AC/DC as far as this next example, and a little bit, I touched on it with this last one with Ted, was keeping it simple. And Eddie certainly wasn't one to keep it simple. Anything but, and it was jammed. Boy, jammed. But the drums and the bass, just keeping it straight. One note, baby, I do. And both Van Halen and AC/DC both do a lot of their writing and incorporate that into it in their production, where they keep the bass really simple and at least for a nice strong beat. And what I've been producing on these last CDs has a lot of that in there. I try to keep the bass simple, keep it rocking, and don't try to cloud the bottom end with a bunch of notes and stuff, which in a power trio, that's got its place for sure. But when you've got that much, 2-3 guitars and vocal and stuff, you want to keep your rhythm section tight, simple, and rocking, and keeping people bouncing. And so there again, AC/DC, and yeah, it's influence for sure. And this little segment, since we're in those years, is certainly cannot leave out Kiss. I mean, for a long time, for me, there wasn't another band besides the Beatles. It's like, if it's not the Beatles, it's not worth listening to. And of course, that view changed through the years, but when Kiss came along, man, it's like, that's entertainment. And it's entertainment at its peak, man. I mean, there's no show like it. Those guys work hard every show. And all of them do. I mean, you look at AC/DC, they're wringing wet up there, putting every ounce energy into it. Kiss, same thing. They're wearing 50 pounds of gear out there, giving you a sight to see and some awesome tunes to listen to, but like She. Riff rock. Keep it simple. And I'm convinced that Ace's solo to that song came off a Doors tune, and I can't think of the name of the Doors tune, but I don't know. I see another one. I don't want to learn it. Love it. but it is. He did take that from the Doors, and can't really say enough about Kiss. I mean, I've seen them so many times, and well, before they switched members. I mean, the original band, and breathtaking. And then as far as influencing me as a performer, that's what performing is all about right there. The Kiss Show. Greatest show on earth. So, I'll be back in a second with some more influences. I'm going to do a little tune for you right now. One of mine. It's called God No Shame. And it's kind of incorporates the influences that I talked about earlier on with the Bob Dylan tune, Knocking on Heaven's Door, and then Bill Withers, Ain't No Sunshine. But it's not that kind of song, but it's a singy song. Stand alone on a corner, looking through your light to see who ran. What am I supposed to do? Oh, baby, surrender. Will you give me half a chance? Will you let me share some things with you? Take some time to hug you. Long black hair blowing around you. I can see you up, girl, when you smile. You gotta tell me the reason that you do most anything. Are you gonna share it with me tonight? 'Cause you got no shame to say that you do anything. 'Cause you got no shame. Ooh, my baby got no shame. Ain't it not in a whisper? Tell it good deeds that they have done. If they all remember you, Now, 3/4 of those chords were the same ones that are in Knocking on Heaven's Door. Just changed one out. Instead of going to the minor 6, went to minor 3/4. Well, no, went to minor 6. And I had E minor. And if we were playing Knocking on Heaven's Door, we would have gone to a minor 6. No theory here, just to go by feel. But that was a fun little song I wrote, and singy-songy, but when it was performed, it had kind of a lot more rhythm to it. So we're still back to James Taylor. I mean, for little songs like that's a James Taylor influence right there on my music. Not so much on the songwriting, but on the guitar playing, but definitely on the songwriting. And it's good stuff. That's on my first EP that I put out called Touched. You could get it on Reverb Nation at www.robmccoy9.com, and you could purchase that. You can Touched as the EP. That's all the guitar work was done on classical guitar on that one. So that's kind of an interesting little EP. Got No Shames on that one. Cold Hearted Woman. Just a couple that I've done on other CDs. And trying to think of another good influence that I haven't mentioned yet. In the classical world, of course, Andre Segovia, John Williams, Julian Bream, and all that stuff was coming out. I was really eating that stuff up and playing classical guitar and actually playing some of that stuff. And which, led to me being able to get a scholarship and stuff to Moorhead and did my music training there. And but back to some rock and roll. I'm learning that boogie beat, I did an awful lot. And so that's just Chuck Berry. Again, George Harrison, John Lennon too. Chucking out rhythms. Train coming. Again, that chunky sound going on. Definitely Chuck Berry, George Harrison, and all those early blues people. And didn't get into the Yardbirds that much, but Jerry Clapton is really totally influenced me. Just his whole style of playing. I really lean more towards him than Hendrix as far as my approach and everything. I like to get wild and crazy and make a bunch of noise and controlled noise and musical noise like Hendrix, but I like the solid blues playing that Eric sticks with, and for the most part. But Eric, can't say enough about him on songwriting and playing the guitar. Certainly can't whip out a lead on this little box right here. Gotta grab a do when you can. Thinking about doing another tune for you, acoustic here. know if I remember all of it. Hold on. Going Batman on you for this last little bit on this episode of Robbie C's Influences, other than substance. And I'm going to wrap this up with a song that I wrote talking about influences. This song is called Moonshine Whiskey. My name's Rob McCoy, my stage name Robbie C. But I'm a real McCoy, and we were moonshiners up in the hills of Kentucky. Got in a feud with the Hatfields, and household name at this point in time. And I wrote a little song about that time. It's just right after the Civil War. Tension's still hot all over them hills in West Virginia and Kentucky. And Moonshine Whiskey, I was going to do it rough and raw for you. Hope you enjoy it, and we'll go back over who we've talked about. It's too late in the evening to be walking all alone. The moonlight shines a path into the night. There've been some drinking and some dancing. There's a fight going on. I got to tell the others there's a storm coming on. The trees, they shook excitement. There was talk up in the hills. They say that they're standing at the square. One ran off to join themselves to the river by the graves of the men that they remember. All the scenes like yesterday, they were making moonshine whiskey. If I know where you belong. Folks come out for miles just to see it finally end. One man took the fall home alone. A hush it filled the air on that dark and cloudy day. They suddenly remember all the men that used to be there. They get on the banks of the big sandy river. They say that they need you to come. Yeah, man. Moonshine whiskey. The key of G's wonderful. Bach said it was God's chord, God's key. Some girls say it's the E chord, but Bach said it was G. But besides that, we don't make moonshine no more. Then we came down off the hills and brought our hill music down and combined it with all this other stuff I've been talking about and come up with me, Robbie C. So, initially my initial influence, George Harrison and the Beatles. I mean, I still can't get enough of them. I just love them. And I learn every time I listen to them. It's not about a writing trick or a guitar lick. It's a mixing trick or something like that. So they're a fresh well of inspiration every day. And Chuck Berry, of course, Little Richard, all the rockabilly people, Buddy Holly, and for getting out there with the Strat, writing his own tunes right away, and going out there doing it, and in the '80s, getting that AC/DC Van Halen rhythm section feel going on. What's going on top for me is different than down in the bottom. Really, really close to what they had going on. And but I learned a lot of leads from, Hendrix, my wonderful lesson with him. Listening to Eric Clapton play, some little tricks with Rush and Supertramp. I really love both those bands, and especially Rush. I really got into them. And Eric Clapton, big influence, and Ace Frehley, picking up his licks. I thank you, Ace. I learned some of them. They were good. And the whole band, tunes, riffs, keep it simple. They had the right name for the band, and it worked. And, but, of course, Pink Floyd, David Gilmour, and Robin Trower, and Richie Blackmore. Everybody. Led Zeppelin, Jimmy Page, yes, for sure. And I left out somebody. And when I saw him perform, not only did it really influence my playing, lead playing, but performing in general is when I went and saw Peter Frampton. And Peter Frampton is just now, getting recognized as the guitar player that he is. And he didn't just play a pentatonic scale, he played full scales and very melodic and a whole different approach, kind of, Lindsey Buckingham fall into that category too, but I never saw Lindsey, but I saw Peter several times. And when he came out and, did his acoustic numbers, and he used that lick too. And it's in there in his show on his first live album. And we've all used it. And, but the command that he had over the audience with just him and his acoustic guitar, he could have told us all to go jump off the bridge into the river, and we'd all gone down it. He showed me what an individual could do with a crowd. And so I aspire to that. And now I come to you like this. And I hope that you aspire to come see me because I'm here for you every day on the Rob McCoy Music Channel. This is Robbie C checking out of Mutart Productions, LLC. And this has been an RC Films production. Thank you.